Hi guys, it's Easter Sunday and I had a wonderful time listening to both of my church services online, McAllen and Weslaco here in Harlingen, Texas. But now I have a video for you. This was a request from a friend of mine and I thought what an excellent idea. She wanted to know how I made this Mackenzie inspired vase. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is how I put the vase together. Now, what you need is E6000 glue. I'm not going to glue this together right now for you because you just need E6000 glue or any type of glue that glues glass together. Now on this one, I only used one glass candlestick from Dollar Tree, and I had these two and I just painted them white. Now I tend to use white spray paint, but I know chalk paint is very popular, and I did paint these with the chalk paint that I made for you the other day using baking soda and acrylic paint, and also the one I showed you using talcum powder and white paint. And since both of them seem to work equally well at coverage, just one had a smooth texture and one had a little bit of a bumpy texture, I just mixed them together so that there was no waste, and that's what I used to cover this and this. But you can spray paint them white or any color you want to spray paint. I'm good with that. It's a lot faster, but I did use that. Now I'm going to show you 3 techniques that you can use. One is super easy, one is easy, and one takes a little more time and effort, but I'll show you how you can do it very easily. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is that you can take a ruler and measure out the space by just marking off on here with pencil where you want your lines to be. Now you can do that all the way around your the vase. I'm just going to eyeball it down because the Mackenzie Child's is not completely perfect, but you do want it pretty straight. And since you're using a pencil, you can also, since this is a straight vase, now the other vases that are not straight are probably going to be a little bit harder. But as you can see, you can just measure it out or freehand it if you're good at freehanding, okay? So, but you can also, you don't even really have to do that unless you just need to, because you can use a brush that is exactly the size that you want, and you can go in and make your squares all the way down. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a few of these lines so that I can show you how to do this by painting. And then I'm going to show you 2 easier techniques if you don't want to paint. And then you're just going to measure your grid all the way down so that you have squares. Like I said, if you're good at freehand, you don't need to do this, but most people feel a little more comfortable drawing the squares on. But remember, you've already got the white. All right, so now you're just going to go into every other square with the black paint, and I'll show you that. All right, I'm going to point it down to my table just so you can see a little bit better. So it's going to miss the top of my head. And I'm putting some black paint on a paper plate. And then I'm going to use this square brush. It really does help having the right size brush for the right project. And I always start in the middle of your project, because that way you know that the middle is gonna, it just gives it a better visual. All right, now every once in a while you are going to make a mistake. No one is perfect unless they've been doing this for a very long time. But you can always, once it's dry, go back in with your white paint and it can be fixed. You don't need to panic. Now, what I like about this also, as you can see, the Mackenzie child has a little bit of those white streaks. When you do it like this, those white streaks shine through. And the last trick I'm going to show you will really bring out the Mackenzie child and take out a lot of that blinding white that is not Mackenzie child. All right, I'm going to do one more row, and then we're going to let that dry. All right, I'm going to kind of show you what I'm doing. You can go halfway down the square and then take the brush and go up the other half of the square. That also helps keep the okay, so you see all of that. All right, we're gonna stop painting for a moment, and then we're gonna go and show you the other techniques for making the Mackenzie childs if you are not into hand painting. And we're gonna finish this up after it dries, because it's still, right now it just looks like race car. It does not look like Mackenzie childs yet, but I'll show you what makes it look like Mackenzie child. Now, the other option is going to be Mackenzie child's napkins. Now, I bought the Mackenzie child's napkins off of the maybe eBay, maybe Amazon. I think you have to buy 2 packages at least if you buy them off of the Mackenzie child's website. I can't remember, but I did buy them, and as you can see, that is the Mackenzie child's look. It has a little bit of white and gold running through it. So that option is done with same thing. You have to have the white underneath. And then you're going to take decoupage, medium, now I took a whole napkin when I did this, or yes, or I did half with half of the vase with the napkin and then did the other half with the vase. You'll see where the seam is right here, and it's gold, and you can see that here it doesn't match, but that's the back of the vase, and I don't really personally worry about that because that is mine at home. But if you're a perfectionist, you can do it like I'm showing you here, with one strip at a time, using the gold at the top, and then there you go. You have decoupaged that on. You wait for it to dry because that is where it's going to keep those wrinkles out that you get when you put a wet paper towel on something. And then you'll just trim this off and tuck it under so that you don't see it, and then we'll finish it off in just a little bit. All right, now the cheaper option is taking this black and white napkin. Now it does not look like Mackenzie Child's, but I will show you what we do. Of course, I'm just going to cut it. All right, I'm just going to cut this. First, I'm going to measure it. And good thing about the Mackenzie Child's look and the napkins is you can cut it on those lines. They have perfect lines for cutting. Now, like I said, when I made my vase, I just put this all the way around and just decoupaged it on. But since I'm showing you 3 different techniques, we're just going to do part of it so you can see how the very last technique works, and we're going to compare all 3 techniques. So we're going to do more decoupage. Of course, I did stick this down now while I was talking to you. I stuck this in the black paint. Let's just not do that, and we won't paint in that area. We won't put decoupage on that area. All right. Now, it is a little hard to do this, to talk to you and do all of this at the same time, but we're going to do it, okay? Now, I'm going to cut this right here so you can see all 3 areas. and that way you can tell me what you think about all three techniques. Which one is the easiest for you? Which one I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay. All right. Now, for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and decoupage this, but you will want it to fully dry before you go over it. You're going to put lots and lots and lots of decoupage on, because you're not going to take off the you know, you're not going to separate your napkin. There's 2 layers and you're not going to separate it. You're just going to put it all on there, and you're going to let it completely dry, then come back and decoupage it, which is not what I'm doing right now because of the video. I don't want to have to wait and come back and do this video for you. But you want to do that because this napkin does tend to also want to break down while you're, it does want to break down while you're working on it. Now, and as you can see, because I didn't wait, I also smeared the paint. But you saw how we did it, and you can any mistake with paint, that's the thing with paint. Any mistake you make with paint, you can let it dry and paint over it, and you can start all over. Where decoupaging, you're not always able to do that unless you don't wait for it to dry and you wash it with soap and water and peel it off. But once, you know, it's dried and then you come and make a mistake, it's a little harder. All right, so I'm showing you on camera how I make mistakes, but when you're taking your time and you're not talking on the camera, it'll be a little bit easier for you to not make mistakes. All right, so you're gonna let it dry, and you notice now that's the black and white, that's the Mackenzie Child's look, and then this is the painted look. Now we are going to let that dry before I show you the last technique. So I am going to have to pause this video and come back after it dries. I just didn't want to have to let it dry and then come back and then let it dry again and come back, so I did cheat a little bit, but you will want it to dry between layers. All right. All right, now here is the secret to make it look like this one, which is the Mackenzie Child's look. That's, okay. The secret is gold paint. Now that alright, I didn't wait for it to completely dry, but anyway, notice how that is. Now, I used chalk paint on this vase, and I'm realizing I should have spray painted it. So there you go. You should spray paint white. Do not use chalk paint because the chalk paint comes off too easily. Or use the white acrylic paint. But see how close that looks? Now let's look at where the napkin was. Perfect. There you go. Mackenzie Child's napkin. There's the napkin, Mackenzie Child's. What do you think? It all looks the same, except some of the white paint rubbed off here because I used chalk paint. But if you spray paint this white first and then paint it, or use the acrylic paint by itself, it's going, look how nice that looks. That's where the napkin, the black and white napkin, was used. And there's the Mackenzie Child's. You can hardly tell the difference. All right, guys, I hope you learned something cool, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And let's see, sorry, it came off the stand here. But that is how you make the Mackenzie Child's vase. Black and white, whether it be paint, or black and white, whether it be a napkin, decoupaged, and then gold paint on top of all of it, and then wipe it off until it's the way you like it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for requesting this video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I am almost done with my laundry room. I've got it all cleaned up. I've kind of remotivated my family and how to keep it that way. And I am now going to decorate, and then I will give you a reveal, and we'll get that video out to you next. And then next weekend I'll work on my craft room. I'm not sure how far I'll get on my craft room, so I'm not sure when that video is going to come out, but I'm making a dream craft room closet, dream closet. And I cannot wait for you to see it. I already bought the shelves. I just have to put them together, and I'm not going to videotape me putting shelves together. I mean, if you needed help and instructions putting Walmart shelves together, I can do that in a, but I'm just going to show you what I've done after I get the shelves completely put together, and I'll show you how I assemble it and what it looks like when I put it together, and I'm super duper excited. All right, guys, share this video with your friends and family that might be interested in organizing and crafting and decorating, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.